Calaroga Shark Media.
From Washington, D.C., where Joe Biden's ballot placement is less certain than a gymnast's landing, and Donald Trump's legal woes are piling up faster than his golf scores, this is Ballot.
All right, folks. Welcome to another episode of Ballot, the podcast that dives deep into the zany world of politics and the colorful characters that inhabit it. Jimmy Fallon joked about Truth Social's stock tanking. Fallon said, it tanked so fast they're changing the name to Twitter. As a result of the stock tanking, Trump's net worth dropped $2 billion. Trump's so panicked, he's now selling copies of the Torah. Seth Meyers joked, according to a new report, aides believe that Donald Trump is planning on drawing out his running mate selection process, apprentice style. Though based on what happened with Pence, it may end up being more like Survivor. John Oliver said Trump is a man who talks non-stop about how he's one of the richest men on earth, begging strangers for money in a hostage video that looks like it was filmed in a house haunted by the world's tackiest ghosts. The late-night host made fun of the various merch options, including a Trump-branded Bible and Trump-branded cologne. Of a mini speaker that bears Trump's likeness, Oliver quipped, "I assume it is way too loud and never dies." As for the gold Trump-branded earbud case, he said, "You know how you can never tell which AirPods are yours and which are your friends? Because all the cases look the same? Well, if you get these, you lose all your friends instantly. Problem solved." Well. It seems like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is having some second thoughts about his 2020 endorsement of Joe Biden for president. Instead of walking back his questionable movie choices like Jungle Cruise or Black Adam, he's decided to express regret over his political stance. In a recent interview with Will Cain on Fox News, Johnson admitted, "The endorsement that I made years ago with Biden was one I thought was the best decision for me at that time." He went on to explain that as the most followed man in the world, because apparently that's a thing, he felt it was his job to exercise his influence and share his endorsement. But oh, how times have changed. Now The Rock is singing a different tune. He's realized that his endorsement caused something that tears him up in his guts: division. When asked if he was happy with the state of America right now, Johnson gave a resounding no. He went on to lament about today's cancel culture, woke culture, and division, stating that it really bugs him. He even threw in a bit about being yourself and being real, even if it makes people upset and tick them off. Because apparently, that's what really matters in politics. And of course, no interview with The Rock would be complete without the obligatory question about his presidential aspirations. But fear not, America. Johnson has no intention of running for office. He's not a politician, he says. Well, that's a relief. We wouldn't want someone with no political experience running for the highest office in the land, now would we? It seems like some voters just can't wrap their heads around the idea of a Biden-Trump rematch in 2024. Take Debbie Pridmore, a Republican voter from North Carolina, who shared her suspicions with NPR. "I really don't see Biden running. I see them finding some way to get him out and get someone else in," she said. When pressed on who that someone else might be, Pridmore played coy, saying, "I don't know who they would get in. I've got my thoughts, but I don't want to share those." Oh, come on, Debbie. Don't leave us hanging like that. It looks like the Ohio Democratic Party might have a bit of a scheduling snafu on their hands. According to a letter sent by Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose, a Republican, President Joe Biden could be left off the November ballot in the Buckeye State, unless some changes are made. Here's the deal. The Democratic National Convention, where the party officially nominates its candidate for president, is set for August 19th. But Ohio law requires presidential candidates to be certified for the ballot by August 7th. That's right, folks. The Democrats are cutting it closer than a freshman's essay submitted at 11:59 p.m. on the due date. So, what are the options? According to LaRose's legal counsel, Paul DeSantis, the Democratic National Committee has two choices: either move up the convention date or hope that the Ohio General Assembly will swoop in like a legislative superhero and create an exception to the statutory requirement. Now I know what you're thinking. Just move the convention earlier, problem solved. But let's be real. Have you ever tried to reschedule a massive event with thousands of attendees, countless vendors, and more logistics than a military operation? When we come back, we'll explore the bizarre disconnect between Truth Social's revenue and its executives' compensation. Donald Trump's self-aggrandizing comparison to Nelson Mandela, Melania Trump's rare public appearance at a lavish fundraiser, and the curious case of the golf club doctor who just can't stop praising the former president's health. Well, folks, it seems like Donald Trump is ready to play the martyr card in his latest legal saga. In a series of posts, the former president declared that he would gladly go to jail to defend his free speech rights, even comparing himself to the legendary South African human rights leader Nelson Mandela. Trump's post came just hours before a swanky fundraiser at the Palm Beach mansion of hedge fund guru John Paulson, where the Trump campaign expected to rake in close to $50 million. I mean, who needs grassroots support when you've got a bunch of super wealthy sugar daddies willing to shell out $250,000 for a seat at your table? But not everyone was impressed by Trump's self-aggrandizing comparison to Mandela. Jasmine Harris, the director of black media for the Biden-Harris 2024 campaign, called out Trump's ego, saying, "Imagine being so self-centered that you compare yourself to Jesus Christ and Nelson Mandela all within the span of little more than a week. That's Donald Trump for you." Well, look who decided to grace us with her presence. Melania Trump, the elusive former First Lady, has finally emerged from her gilded cage to attend a fundraiser with her husband, Donald Trump. And boy, did she make an impression. The event, held at the lavish Palm Beach home of billionaire investor John Paulson, raised a whopping $50.5 million for Trump's 2024 campaign. That's almost double the $26 million that President Joe Biden recently raised at an event with former Presidents Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. But let's talk about the real star of the show, Melania. Trump told reporters, "This has been some incredible evening before it even starts, because people, they wanted to contribute to a cause of making America great again. And that's what's happened." He added, "We're going to make America great again. Everyone knows it." Yeah, because nothing says great like a former president who incited an insurrection and a former First Lady who looks like she'd rather be anywhere else. Speaking of Melania's demeanor, social media had a field day with her appearance at the fundraiser. Journalist Victoria Brownworth tweeted, "Melania, who hasn't been seen in public for months, doesn't look very happy for someone who is gearing up to be First Lady again, a job we know she absolutely adored." I mean, can you blame her? Being married to Donald Trump is probably about as enjoyable as getting a root canal without anesthesia. Attorney Ron Filipkowski chimed in, writing, "Melania looks like she's in a hostage video tonight. Blink twice if you need help." Meanwhile, podcast host Fred Wellman quipped, "Melania is checking the clock for the end of her shift." Oh boy, get ready for another episode of Tales from Trump's Golf Club. Apparently, the doctor who recently wrote a glowing note about the former president's excellent health is a regular fixture at Trump's Bedminster Golf Club. Who would have thought? According to the Washington Post, Dr. Bruce A. Aaronwald, the New Jersey-based osteopathic physician who penned the 3-paragraph love letter to Trump's health, is not only the former president's personal physician, but also a longtime member of his exclusive golf club. As one anonymous club member put it, "If you're sitting around the pool, you see him all the time. He is a fixture." Now let's talk about that doctor's note for a second. In November, Trump proudly shared Aaronwald's assessment, which stated not once, but twice, that his overall health is excellent. The note also claimed that Trump's physical exams were well within the normal range, and his cognitive exams were exceptional. I mean, if you're going to write a glowing review of your patient's health, you might as well go all in, right? But let's not forget about Trump's previous physician, the late Dr. Harold Bornstein, who had a flair for the dramatic when it came to describing the former president's health. Who could forget his declarations of Trump's astonishingly excellent health and extraordinary stamina? And let's not even get into the whole debacle about Trump allegedly dictating his own health letter back in 2015. Well, folks, that's all we have for you today on Ballot. Portions of this podcast were created with the assistance of AI. We hope you enjoyed this journey through the wacky, the weird, and the downright absurd in the realm of politics. Remember, if you can't laugh at the craziness, you might just cry. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled and your ears open for more tales from the political circus.